All right, so today in the Parent Spotlight, we have Andy and Dani from Brewer Maine. So thank you so much for doing this, Andy and Dani. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Totally.
So, first off, what are the names and ages of the little ones that are running the house right now?
We have Reese, who's 8, Felix, who's 6, Leo, who's 4, who's probably really running the house, and Riker, who is 16 months.
16 months, 18
Okay.
months. March.
Yeah.
They all the birthdays kind of blend together after a few years. Yes.
So part of this experience is, trying to commiserate and connect on some of the things that have been difficult. So what have been some of the challenges that you have both experienced this year?
I feel like one of the hardest things for the kids, especially, has been not really been able to see a lot of their friends, and very, very limited play dates, especially way early on when it was like super lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was probably the toughest struggle for them too, was just not seeing their buddies and having to I mean, we had play dates like almost every day at some point. So it was kind of tough.
Change, yeah.
Yeah. And then once we established our germ bubble with select few of like-minded parents and kids, it was a little bit easier, but still, I think that was the hardest part for everybody.
Right.
I think a fallout from that too is that their relationships with each other is more strained because they are around each other all the time now.
Yeah.
So we're trying to maneuver those relationships and keep those relationships kind and build each other up, while also recognizing that they need their own space too.
Right, which is so tough. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So how about for parents? As parents, what has been the most difficult piece?
I should let Andy speak to it. So Andy's the champion. He is the stay-at-home dad and therefore is around the kids much more than I am on a weekly basis, and is the chef of the family. So his stressors, I think, have increased during this time because my outlet is work. Even though it's 3 12-hour shifts, it's still a portion of time where I'm out of home. So that burden has been laid more primarily on him. So I'll just let you view that.
Yeah, I think with when everything was on super shutdown, the hardest part was all of us having our little outlets. Like we had a really good rhythm with, I have a couple of other friends that are stay at home and with children that they play with pretty frequently. We have another family that has 4 kids and sort of similar ages, and they all get together, and it's 8 kids isn't as chaotic as you would think. It kind of balances itself out. But we had our rhythm and we had our thing. We, even over the summers, I'd go to the gym pretty regularly, and they would go to the daycare room, and they'd see all their buddies from the daycare room and all that, and we would, have our regular morning times, our regular, whatever dates they were. The schedule being disrupted was probably the hardest thing. And then not having anything to do,
right, except
for be home. Really, everything was closed, so you didn't have any of those outlets. And then of course, I love them, but the 24/7 thing, we didn't really have an outlet to have our own space at the time, and our own sort of times where they had their own times with their buddies, and then I had my sort of getaway times. And I know Dani's working, but she still was having conversations with other adults and that, so there was a little bit of outlet. So trying to then when she would come home, I would just blah blah all this stuff at her because it was another adult to talk to, so I kind of felt bad in that.
Yeah,
it is definitely more challenging as parents because you have to be more creative about what you're going to do with the children that provides them safety and learning, but also recognize that you as a parent have needs too. Like Andy mentioned his gym time and how we found that that's really integral to his mental health. And so even if it's just, I don't mean it like it overall makes him feel better. So to have that hour and a half every day, or 4 times a week. We've really started prioritizing that more. So it's just kind of highlighted opportunities that we may not have thought of before, or realize the importance of things that we do as parents
Highlights.
and individuals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you don't know what you have until it's gone, kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Yeah.
So kind of moving into, what are some things that you've done well? What are some things that you've discovered that have been very helpful, that might be helpful for all of us other parents going through this unique year?
So one of our biggest resources that we kind of fell upon early on in March was a book that was written by a local author and outdoors woman that is called Family Friendly Hikes in Maine. And so it's a very long list. Yeah. And so twice a week we pick somewhere in the book and go and explore. And that's been really helpful because the kids are all about bugs and nature, and it gives them more space to walk around in and a little bit of independence. So that's been really great.
That's great. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fairly lucky. I shouldn't say fairly, but we're lucky that, like, we're kind of biased, but we are both from away, but moved to Maine independently and then met here and stuck around. But Maine is a pretty awesome state to explore. And I'm sure there's other states that, obviously that are too, and offer all kinds of stuff to explore. And I think maybe, if there's other resources like that, or even just like local hiking books, and just, get a list of the trails and places to go, and we're just crossing them off the list. And
that's cool.
And it's been fun for everybody, because it's exercise for everybody. It gets the kids, tired out, knock wood. Yeah. Bedtime, we just hiked today, and bedtime went really well today. They were pretty pooped out and fell asleep right away, and that was good. And so it's, but it gets everybody moving, and we get to see the state. Like for years we've been meaning to do it,
There's something very important about a smooth bedtime.
Very.
Really end the day well for you.
Yes.
Yeah, we tag team. We have a little pinch hit system, tag off, and we've got a well-oiled system.
Yeah. And anything else that you found useful? So hiking is a great idea, and if you have some sort of resource that lists some amazing trails around your area, that's super cool that you found that. Anything else that you found useful?
I think. Do you have one?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was. We've been doing a lot more tactile things too. We've also, we kind of already knew that there's a correlation between their behavior and screen time. So we've been trying to do more tactile things at home. So Legos are pretty rampant here, and things like Connects or perler beads, things like that, where they can create independently or as a group, and then have imagination time with those, have been really helpful, I think. Also, we're lucky that Reese is at the age where he can read independently, and he loves to read. So we've been doing some subscriptions to different services, like Literati is a service that will deliver books to your home every month.
Oh, Literati. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one. So it's just auto-populate some books for your family based on their age.
Oh, okay.
And Kiwi Crate, I don't know if you're familiar with Kiwi Crates, but that's more of a STEM subscription too. So that's been just different ways to introduce different projects and crafts and ideas and learning. Yeah. So things like that have been helpful for when we're home.
Yeah, I bet.
I was going to plug the Kiwi Crate as well.
The Kiwi Crate?
Yeah, it's nice because they have it, they're sort of loose guides, but they have them based on age group as well. So age group interest and things like that. So we just started getting, we get two.
We get one each for the two oldest kids.
Yeah. So they have, and then Leo is going to get some soon, I think, ish. But they have a pretty good variety of age groups, and so you can have more advanced. And I think they go even up to I want to say up to high school kids too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And for both those services, you can choose your frequency.
Right.
So if there's someone like us who's pretty much, although Andy works adjunct, we're pretty much as like a single income household. So we kind of, it's helpful for us that you can choose that, whether you want to cut back for a few months or have it more frequently. That's really helpful too. So it's not too much out of your pocket.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any words of wisdom that you would like to share with all of us? You know, what a message that you would like people to hear that will be helpful for folks?
Are you looking at me?
Because this is your wheelhouse. Danny's like the Zen master of the house. So that's
Perfect.
I guess my advice, which is not just for like pandemic times, but all parenting times, is not to sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
And to enjoy the time you have together, because we only have these times once through, right? And so enjoying each other and being positive and trying to understand where the kids are coming from where they are intellectually and physically, and just being patient.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is sometimes easier said than done.
Easier said than done, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then sometimes I think it's nice, like you guys obviously have a partnership where I'm sure that you can support each other in keeping on track with that, right? Like call each other out when someone's not being patient, or
yeah, we love it when each other does that.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
Yeah. Tell me more about how I messed up that conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, so true. All right. Well, Andy and Dani, thank you so much for doing this. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Totally. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, well, and we actually, my sister, so hopefully at some point we'll be in Maine and we'll be able to connect in person.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome.
Now it's recorded, so you're going to have to get
That's
here.
right. It's on the record.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.